Hey everybody, haven't done a video for a minute, but I wanted to slide in here and provide you with part one of a three-part series on disrespect in relationships and how to recognize it when it's right in front of you. I think, we did a video recently about 11 signs to watch for to know that the relationship is not going to work. And one of those components presented is a lack of integrity. To me, respect goes hand in hand with integrity as a core component of a strong, sane, and healthy relationship. It's important to remember that there are two kinds of respectful relationships, though. There's respect of others and there's respect of self. And a lot of times, that's where you ladies mess up. Now, relationships that don't have mutual respect along with respect of self are going to have problems. They're going to have all kinds of problems and possibly different types of abuses. So let's define, before we get started here, let's define what respect means. What does respect look like? I posted that question on several different websites and / message boards, discussion board forum type things around the web because I wanted to get an idea of how other people viewed respect. Answers included when anyone disrespects you, it reflects their own self-hatred and insecurities. This has nothing to do with you. People that hate themselves when dating other people reject their partners. Another person said it looks like a one-sided relationship. Mutual respect should be a factor in any relationship, period. If you don't have it, then what do you really have? Another said, disrespect in a relationship is where one does not respect the core moral values and standards of the other person. Often, this is simply a case of the two people not being compatible in the fundamental principles on account of having different levels of standards and expectations, or expectations that are too high for the other person when one is incapable of meeting their own expectations. It may also look like a balance tipping more heavily to one side or another. This is another response I received. For example, let's say a person knows their partner is having a tough time and decides to prepare meals and whatnot for them. Then their partner just comes in and complains that they did something wrong. All that effort just to be told you did something wrong. Now, you may say they're just stressed out, but if it happens repeatedly with no attempt to reconcile, it's just plain disrespectful. Another person shouldn't be doing all the work in a relationship. Another young lady said that disrespect comes in many, many forms, and sometimes you don't really notice it until they hurt you too bad. Disrespect is calling your partner names repeatedly, letting your anger and temper rise that you're now speaking to your rib as if she was a thief from the streets. Disrespect is being a man and raising your hand to your woman. But even worse is having no good reason to unleash such a punishment. I can't think of any reason that would, whether good or not. And so it goes on and on like that. And it really, they see disrespect almost the way I do. Now, what's so interesting about this is I came up with 21 things. I was going to do all 21 things in one video, but a poll on the community board here on YouTube mainly decided that I should break it up. So I'm going to have 3 different videos with parts 1 through 7 in this video, 8 through 15 in the second, and 16 through 21 in the third and final video. So let's get started. So what are we going to talk about in this video? The main points I want to that I'll be covering are: what is respect? Are there different types of respect? How do you know that your partner is disrespecting you and that your relationship has some components of disrespect in it? Let me remind you to hit that like and subscribe button if you like the content that you see here on the Debsterism Channel, and check out any of the over 1,000 other videos that we have about various types of dating and relationship issues. So let's move on and start with slide number 1. In this one, shit don't be adding up. That's the bottom line. In these, I want to make sure that you understand that the information I'm presenting is going to be 21 things. Like I said, they are being presented in no particular order of importance. So don't think because I said this one first that it is the most important thing. I don't want you to think that. They're going to be presented in the way that I thought of them, in the order I thought of them. So this is an important one. That's you've been hearing stories from dude, and what he says and what he does just don't be adding up. Just be all sus as hell, okay? But he's all talk with no action, or maybe some action, a little bit of action, but not really to the level that he talks smack. He generally will make promises, but he won't keep them. His words don't match his actions, which translate really into him just being undependable. What he says with words, what he does, tell you a conflicting message. So you're sitting there confused and unsure about what to believe because, right, he's saying one thing, but he's doing another. Which one is the right one? I personally go by what they do versus what they say, but that's just me. Okay, so sometimes, he might say he's there for you, right? He's pressing those buttons. Oh, baby, 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 please. I'm with you. I'm with you. You can depend on me. I'm your dude. I'm right here, all this stuff, right? But when it comes time for you to need something from him, you need his support, you need him to help you do something, he's mysteriously MIA. He's too busy. Or he'll be over there later, but then he don't show up. Or, you're trying to talk to him about the problem or the issue that you need some help on. He's tuning you out. Or you tell him about a problem, some kind of conflict you had. This is what happens a lot. Somehow he's listening, right? And instead of just siding with you and providing you with support, he flips it around to make it your fault. You did something wrong. And you're straight telling him how that's not the case. But somehow in his mind, the problem is you. And if you had done or said what you did, then it wouldn't have been this result would not have happened. So it's all your fault. So you basically end up wasting a lot of time trying to share your emotions with him. A lot of times you just want him to listen, right? You just want to go through the process of setting out the issues that you really intend to resolve yourself, right? He's just a listening ear. He's not there to solve your problem. He's just there to listen. But somehow he doesn't understand that. So he jumps in with his mansplaining and expects you to do just what he tells you, the way he tells you to do it, like you're a trained dog or something. You may share important information with him, expecting, for you two to have a conversation, right? You want to get his opinion, his thoughts, his feelings. You're trying to get an idea how he feels about something and how you guys can make this work. But instead, he kind of zones out. Some of them are so bold, they even turn up the volume on the TV to like super loud to drown you out. Or they pick up their game controller and let you know, they put the headphones on or something, let you know I'm not trying to hear nothing you're talking about. He'll go out of his way to make you feel weak and stupid and incapable of adulting, unless, of course, he shares his grand opinion with you. Then, you can do what he tells you. He is not the least bit supportive or really there when you need him. This is a repetitive pattern. I'm not talking about somebody who's, just one time kind of slips up. We're talking about patterns here. And you may feel like you can do everything yourself or that you should do everything yourself because he won't help you. He historically won't help you. Or it historically tells you that it's too much trouble. Or, you ask him for too much. I mean, he's going to hit you with that kind of stuff to make you feel guilty for asking him for help. And you being, a person who only has so much of a tough skin, you don't want to ask him again. You don't want to keep getting rejected and told that it's your fault. So you just do whatever it is you need to be done by yourself. But really, if you have such an inconsistent and undependable man in your life, what is it that you think you need him for? I have never understood that part. Where is this relationship a supportive one for you? It just would seem to me that a lot of that is a very one-sided situation. And most of the time, these guys start showing these signs like right off the bat within a couple of weeks of you starting to date them. So it's something to pay attention to, okay? Okay, now let's talk about with the little put downs that men make. These put downs, what is a put down? It's basically a snarky little snide remark. that is designed to make you feel bad about yourself in some kind of way. Now, put downs can be very subtle, what is very often now referred to as negging. So you're not really sure what he meant by what he said. You know, it's a compliment, but then he hits you with a zinger at the end. So you're not really sure, was that a compliment? Is he trying to cap on me? I mean, what is this? So you're not really sure what to feel, but it still hurts you. And you're not at least bit amused by his little joke. Sometimes though, it's not subtle like a nag where it's confusing. It's direct, it's aggressive, and it is a harshly critical attack on you and your personage or anything about you. What's so horrible about this is that they love to do it in front of other people to use you to get a laugh. They make you the punchline. You are the one who is the brunt of the joke, and it's not funny. They'll put down things about you that other people might find interesting and attractive, mainly because they make him feel insecure. So he wants to knock you down a peg or two so that you don't, think too highly of yourself. They might start attacking stuff that you're quite proud of about yourself, like your education, for instance, your intellect, your fashion sense, your kids, your clothes, your abilities, your friends, your intelligence, your figure, your food choices, and then, your cooking abilities, your hairstyle, your hair. I mean, anything. With me, it was my eyebrows. It's just anything about you that they want to use as a tool to put you in check and make you feel bad about yourself and question your confidence and your beauty or anything else. But when you turn around and call them on it, right, they're gonna turn around. They're gonna pretend like, "Oh my God, you're just tripping." Somehow it becomes your fault. You're tripping. I was just making a joke. Like he's the sudden victim now. He's gonna be all clutching his pearls and stuff because you did in his butt. But the basic premise here is that he's gonna defend his action as he was just making a joke, and he's gonna, position what you see. Now let's talk about the dude that gets with you simply to waste your time. This is real common, and I think a lot of ladies don't really understand how disrespectful this kind of behavior is. And again, it usually manifests itself very early in the dating process. So what is it when he wastes your time? What does that include? Well, it means when you have a date, he's late. He's late a lot. He's like very late. Or he stands you up altogether. Or he cancels at the last minute. This is the type of dude that will keep you waiting. You'll be waiting for him to come pick you up at your house, or you'll be waiting for him to come pick you up at the train station. You all outside and outdoors, as they say. You'll be waiting for him to show up at the restaurant where he asked you to meet him. You'll be waiting for him outside your job when he's supposed to be picking you up, sometimes in your car that he borrowed, and he's still late. Sometimes he will make you late because he just has to stop by Rollo Nim's house to Jack for no real reason. So where you guys are going somewhere, on a date, he's taking you to work, he's going to drop you off at the doctor, whatever. He just has this grand emergency to talk about nothing, but with the sole goal of just making you late because his timetable is not on yours. It's like what you have to go on, what's important to you, is not deemed to be important to him. So you don't get the respect that you deserve for the time that you are expending in these certain situations. These type of dudes are, it's just, they just have no real reason not to respond in a timely way, like to calls and to texts. They just ignore you because that's what they want to do. There's no real rhyme or reason to it. But what you need to understand, if you wait for a dude to come home, you wait for him to repay you the money that he borrowed and was supposed to return to you on his payday last week and didn't do it. You wait for him to call you back and schedule something because you guys are supposed to get together on Friday, but now it's Wednesday. He still hasn't called to say what it is that you're all supposed to be doing. This is a man who is disrespecting your time. When you know that this is the kind of dude that you have, if time is important to you, you can see that you two have vastly different values. This kind of guy should be nexted. those of you though who are young and have this kind of time and energy to waste will very often just, work with it and maybe set up a plan B so you have someplace else to go if you decide to show up late since you already dressed. You make it work because you're more concerned about maintaining the relationship with this knucklehead than you are in having your time respected. And I have to admit, time is one of those kind of things that is very important to some people and not so much to others. So, this one is going to be strictly up to you. But I think time is money. Time to me is, as I've said to you guys many, many times, the one resource that wasn't spit, you never get it back. You can't regrow it. You can't replant it. You can't recycle it. You can't, it's gone. It's just gone. And I refuse to have my time wasted by any clown. Number 4 on the hit parade for the first video in this series is men who lie to you. This is a huge problem for women who do online dating and them swipey app things. Women have, right on the advice show, they report that it's so common for men to lie about their age, their height. They leave out stuff or totally give you the wrong number about the number of children they have, the number of baby mamas they have, the amount of money they make, their relationship status as in, he's really married, but he's pretending like he's not, or he's living with some woman, or he's living with his baby mom, there's something going on where there's some woman in his life under the impression that they have a committed relationship, but he's out here acting like that's not the case. So, that's basically, he's lying to two people then. Some of them lie about their education. Some of them lie about having a job, period. They leave out stuff like their conviction record. All kind of stuff is going on out here in these single streets. But basically, he lies because he's misrepresenting himself. He's representing himself to be better or different than the way he really is so that you get with him under false pretenses. He lies to support the vision that he wants to have in your eyes of him being this perfect man, and perfect for you. A lot of times they'll lie about their female friends, right? Oh, she's just a friend. Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. Basically, what he's trying to do is set up a fantasy world that, he pulls you into because you want to mistakenly believe that his perfection is a reality. You still stuck on Disney. This is your Prince Charming, and you want to maintain that fantasy instead of looking at him for the man that he really is, which is the whole reason for this 3-video series. I want you guys to stop thinking with your feelings and using your fantasies as a guide to measure these men and vet them. And instead, look at what he does and look at what he says. Look at how he treats you. Stop putting rose-colored glasses on. And if he's treating you disrespectfully, then you need to get rid of him. You don't change a man. You can't raise nobody's grown son. Okay? No matter your love and begging, pleading, and whining is going to change this man and make him stop behaving in the ways that we will be going through in this series. So you have some dude who's a liar, right? What kind of stuff do they lie about? All kind of stuff. Okay, they'll lie about their female friends. They're going to lie about the fact that he loves you, so he misrepresents his emotions, his investment. He's going to lie to cover up whatever his true motives and intentions are for trying to get with you. Usually it's about some tail, but, sometimes it's something else, a place to stay, your money, your credit that he wants to use to start himself a business. There's all kind of reasons that a guy is going to lie to you to get you to feel more for him than he feels for you. Oh, my God. He's going to lie about leaving his wife. This is a big one for women who fully believe that a man is separated or about to get a divorce, or he will get a divorce to be with her. So you waste years of your life with some man who's tied up elsewhere. He's going to lie that he's working late, or he got to work this weekend, or he got to go out of town for a business trip when he's doing nothing but corner cutting and mattress jumping. Sometimes like right down the street. He may lie about his interest in committing to you or marrying you, which is the reason why these women had these 5-10-year relationships with men and then be still complaining, he won't marry me. We were engaged for 77 years and he still won't marry me. We can't set a date. Because it was all a lie. He just wanted to keep you on the hook while he stayed single. Uh, they will lie about their, how do I put this? Their interest in men, where they pretend to be more interested in women, but they're really not. Okay, I hope that was diplomatic, right? They'll lie about being busy instead of just telling you that he wants time to be alone. I mean, everyone needs time to be alone. But I admit, some women flip out, and so the guys will lie to create that space for themselves to hang out with their friends and do, men things and bonding, male bonding. But some of you ladies will flip out about that, so they don't tell you. So they lie to you in order to make that space for themselves to do that. They'll play sit around playing video games, drinking, and just talking smack to each other. They're going to lie about himself and say that he's doing it to protect you. But the truth is he's protecting himself from you cussing him out or leaving him in the dust, which he knows you would do if you knew the real deal. The truth is he lies to manipulate you into giving him what he wants. I mean, no matter what else I say, that's the bottom line. And by the time you realize that he's lying his ass off, or you think it's too late to leave him because you fallen in love or moved in together, gotten engaged, and sometimes even pregnant, that's where they want you, because it makes it easier to manipulate and control you. So be careful about that. If you notice that a guy's lying about little things, please understand he's going to lie about big things too, and you are going to have a problem on your hands. A very common sign of disrespect by men towards women occurs not only in interpersonal or romantic relationship, it happens in families, and it's particularly common to have it happen in professional work settings. This one is that they interrupt or talk over you. They interrupt and talk over women a lot. And it's this general attitude that a lot of men have that what women are saying is not important enough for them to listen to. Now, if you're in a relationship with somebody who's doing that, that he's going to complete your sentences before you even get a chance to say it. And it's like he's rushing you. He's rushing you to try to communicate, because it's like the implication is, I don't have time to hear this, hurry up. That's what he's basically doing by trying to talk over you like that. He's going to tell you sometimes what you're thinking or feeling, like he knows about you better than you know yourself, because he's in such a hurry to make his point before you even can complete your story or your thoughts. So he jumps in to tell you his wonderful idea and his wonderful tale, like something that happened to him or his friend or something is a better example of what you were talking about than your own personal experience. He does not allow you the space to kind of like explore your feelings about a subject and share your thoughts. It's really interesting to watch this happen. As a bystander, you stand there and watch it happen and look at the women's crestfallen faces. They just feel so small, and these guys do that intentionally. One of their favorite interjection is, okay, you say something, right? And you're given a reason why you would like to see a change, why he was wrong, why there's some, issue. This is his comeback. Before you even finish really going, really completing your thoughts, yeah, but, and then they get started. They go on this tirade to try to prove to you why you're wrong when they haven't even heard your full thought about why what they did or said was wrong. They basically are not trying to hear it. They shut you down. And he basically he does that because he's contradicting your viewpoint. By doing that, he's making you wrong. You got to understand what the goal is here. They oftentimes will just jump in, talking about something, right, and you're sharing your experience. He's going to jump in and start talking about something that's totally unrelated to what you were talking about, essentially derailing your conversation. They do this a lot online. I don't let them do it on my message board and in the chats. We just boot them up out of there. But this is a typical male behavior pattern. They don't want women to talk about what women want to talk about. They want your attention on them, and they want to talk about what they want to talk about. And they will go on and just drone on and on forever about nothing. Ain't nobody trying to hear all that. I will just straight tell them, you just sound like a windbag. I got to go. I have time to listen to all this. I'm not trying to hear you like that. You couldn't even give me 60 seconds to finish my thought, but you want me to listen to you for 10 minutes, talk about the same thing? I'm not doing that. We're not going to do that. So, I don't really understand why more women don't speak up. Instead, you sit there and suffer and listen to him tell his old dried up stories. He's been telling you the same story 55 times. if you are lucky enough that he can hold his tongue long enough for you to have a space to complete your full story, you will notice that your talking is accompanied by him eye rolling, sighing, with these big bursts of sighs to make sure you heard him. They may cover their ears, drumming their fingers, showing all these signs of impatience and lack of interest in listening to you. Or they pointedly change the subject. Like I said earlier, they want to talk about what they want to talk about, and you are not allowed to talk about what you want to talk about, especially if it's a criticism of his behavior or words towards you. They basically want to let you know that they're not listening and they're not interested in anything that you have to say. To me, if you cannot talk to your man, it shuts down communication. This is like the most disrespectful thing. I don't understand how people can even have any kind of relationship when you can't really express yourself. You get shut down at every turn. It's something to think about, ladies. This one would seem to be pretty self-explanatory. However, you do see a lot of young women sign on for these struggle love relationships. My daughter used to tell me about how guys would invite their girlfriend over, right? And she's thinking she's coming to spend time with him. But when she gets there, she's basically sitting there on the couch watching him play video games. This is, when she was in her early 20s. And I was just amazed. I'm like, please, I would clock him upside the head with something and get up and walk out the door. I'm not going to do that. But, this is a common thing where women will sit there and they will just beg a guy to spend time with them, beg him for his attention, beg him for affection. These guys they'll have a problem ignoring you in favor of, their gaming thing or hanging with his friends or watching TV, or, sports on TV or whatever, watching popcorn, that's another one. The relationship that you have with this man basically exists solely on his terms. It's structured around his availability and, when he wants something from you, and you know what I'm talking about. Usually this kind of relationship is like takes place at nighttime. Like that's the only time you really see him. He doesn't really, want to take you out during the day. He doesn't really want to take you out at all, really. And he's not about, spending time with you, just doing regular couple stuff, grocery shopping, running errands, going hanging out at the park and eating your sandwiches and talking to each other. He doesn't do any of that. There's no kind of real emotional intimacy in your relationship. Yet a lot of you hang on to that and you write my advice column or other columnists as well, asking what you can do to get him to pay more attention to you. You don't do that. What you do is cut him loose, because this situation with time is something, like I said, you just never get back. You don't get your time back. And once it's gone, it's gone. Why would you spend it with a man who doesn't see spending time with you as something that's important and valuable, something that he really wants to do, something that's more exciting and more fulfilling than playing a video game and watching sports on TV? If you have that kind of situation, please rethink that and figure out what you're going to do about moving on to a man who can't wait to spend time with you. That's what you deserve. Give it to yourself. Cut this kind of dude loose. And on the opposite side of that, the flip side of the man who doesn't spend time with you, doesn't make time for you, is the man who has too much time for you. This guy is like a Klingon. He doesn't seem to have any friends. He doesn't really associate with his family very much. And he doesn't really have any hobbies or interests that take up his time. You and your relationship seem to be his sole focus. It's just the most bizarre thing. He wants to be around you all the time, to the point where he even calls off of work, just stands up his friends. He just wants to be like up under you all the time. He spends a lot of time at your house, or he wants to move in with you right away so you can, quote, be together, end quote. He may do what is referred to as love bombing. So sometimes this has more sinister connotations, but a lot of time it's not. He's just a real needy, overly emotional, don't have nothing going on in his life type of dude. But, there is the narc kind that love bomb you, which basically means they're going to try to rush the relationship along at a breakneck speed. Like you've only been dating him for a few weeks, yet he's already telling you that he loves you. He's so happy he met you. He never met anybody like you. He wants you to meet his friends. He wants you to meet his parents. You the one, all that kind of stuff. And you listen to that crap and you believe it. How is somebody going to be having all of those kind of thoughts and feelings for you? They've known you 2 weeks. What the hell? Why would you even believe that? It just amazes me. So these kind of guys, the love bomb types and the clingy types, like I said, only you're going to be able to figure out the difference. So you got to take that into consideration here. But they tend to want to be all over you all the time. They just constantly touching you, constantly wanting to hug on you, constantly following you around. It's like, oh my God, can I fart and you not breathe it? This is ridiculous. They bring you flowers all the time. They bring you little gifts all the time. And, it may start off where you think, oh, this is so sweet. This is so thoughtful. This is so considerate. I love it. But, after the 13th bouquet in a week, it's a bit much. And you start feeling a little suffocated and choked. These guys also call and text all the time, mostly texting. When you're apart, what you doing? Who you with? When you coming home? What you doing again? It's like, I'm doing the same thing I was doing 5 minutes ago. Why are you bothering me? He wants to go with you everywhere. These are the kind of dudes that you hear about. They show up with their girlfriends when it's girls' night out. The girls bring them. They bring them to bridal showers. They bring them to baby showers. These kind of dudes are just too damn clingy, and they suck all the life out of you. It's like it's hard for you to have any kind of relationship outside of him. He just wants to be stuck up under you all the time. It's just the most bizarre thing. He wants to be hanging out with you even to the point where, like I said, you're going out on a girls' night or even to the nail salon, the hairdresser. Anything. He wants to be there. It's just a control thing. It could be. I'm not talking about what his reason is for doing it. I'm merely pointing out to you that they do it and how it's a red flag. Because in any of these situations that I mentioned, it's not cool. It's not anything that is a healthy relationship is built upon, because there must be space and time for the partners to maintain relationships that they have with other people, because that makes you a complete person, getting your love and last with a variety of personalities and friends and family members and stuff like that. You should not be putting yourself in a situation where all of that comes from one person. They pout if you want to do something with somebody else. Basically, these kind of guys, to me, come across as an empty shell. They just have no direction, no purpose. They just empty, just walking around looking for a woman in a relationship to fill them up. So be careful about that. If you're in a situation where you start feeling, slight frustration, you're not really sure what's going on, you're feeling kind of put upon, put out. When he wants to spend time with you, you find yourself kind of like, oh my God, trying to come up with an excuse, rolling your eyes, this kind of stuff. That is a sign that you're being negatively impacted by his emotional neediness or control freak. Like I said, whatever it is, you're being negatively impacted by it, and you need to set up some very firm boundaries or eliminate him from your relationship pool. As we close out video number 1 of the 3-video series, I want to remind you to always remember that how a guy starts is how he's going to finish. Men do not change. They don't change. The only thing you can change about a man is his diaper, and that's when he's either too young to know how to do it, to be potty trained, or he's so old that he can't do it himself. Either one of those ends of the spectrum is not where any lady is here who's trying to find a positive, a romantic relationship. We're going to eliminate both of those ends of the spectrum. But bottom line is, these are just the first 7 of the series. Please make note of them. There will be some more coming out in a few days, the next 7, numbers 8 through 15. And I hope that this is a beneficial series for you. This is Deb Cooper from survivingdating.com and here on the YouTube channel Debsterism. Please hit that like and subscribe before you get up out of here. And I'll see you guys in a few days. Bye-bye.